Hello students, let's have a short revision on some of the topics of Visual Basic. These topics will be helpful to you in your exams. Let us see all the questions. These are the listed questions which are going to or which may be asked in the exam. We'll cover one question at a time and we will see the explanation of each question. We'll start with the simple example of Visual Basic. We need one command button and you write certain code on click event of command button. Here I am writing code to simply display any string. Let us execute this code, and when you click on the command button you print hello. Like this you can have different statements and your program gets executed line by line, like first line first, then second, then third. This way it works. Let us take another example of adding two numbers. For this let us declare two variables, dim a b as integer, and then let us store some values in it. A equals to 4, b equals to 8. We need one more variable to display the answer, and let us store a plus b in answer and display the answer. Now this program executes and it shows number 12 over here. Now this execution happens in sequence. So one line, then second, third, fourth, fifth, and this is what is there in the question. Explain three control statements in VB. Now the example which I have explained you is of type sequence, where all the commands are getting executed in sequence, first, second, third, fourth. The second is selection. Okay, so there are different statements which come under the category selection. Let us see example of that. For this we need one variable, dim a as integer, and let us save some number in it, and if a is less than 0 then print number is negative, and if we can also write else statement over here. Here we are assuming that we are not entering 0. We have initialized a with 8, so it will not get executed for 0. Let us run this program and command. The output is number is positive. Now here we have given two statements, number is negative, number is positive. Okay, so here happens the selection. So a is holding the value as 8. 8 is less than equals to 0. No, it is not less. So this statement will be skipped and the control will move to else part. So here we have got the selection whether to execute this statement or to execute this statement. So here comes the selection control. So which is mentioned here. Out of these three controls, sequence where all the statements get executed in sequence, selection where we have a choice where we use if then else statement, and the third control statement is iteration. Let us see example of iteration also. Iteration means simply it means repetition of certain statement. Now the simplest example I can tell you for this is displaying your name 5 times, any name. I'm using print statement for that. print, suppose I write ideal computers. Now if I execute this program, that gets displayed once. If I want same statement to be printed 5 times, I can write 5 print statement. 10 times, 100 times. It is not possible to write this print statement 100 times. So in that case, we will be using this category of statement, that is iteration, means repeating certain step number of times. So how many times, that we can fix first, and then it will iterate. So here one of the iteration control is for loop. I am explaining you for over here. So for I equals to 1, here you need to give 2. For I equals to 1 to 10, you are repeating, and next statement. So here the value of I is initialized to 1, then it will move inside, it will print ideal computers, it will take next value of I, it will become 2, again it will go inside, it will print ideal computers, again it will go increase because of this next statement, again 3 print, 4 print, 5 print, like that it will execute this statement 10 times, because the initial value is 1 and the final value is 10, and every time we are increasing it by 1, so 10 times this line will get printed. So this is what the expected output. So here is the question that explain 3 control statements in VB: sequence, selection and iteration. So these are the 3 statements, and this is what we are going to see again in details in coming questions. Second question is, why control structures are used in VB? Again, the same explanation is applied here. Visual Basic Control Structure need tools for performing repetitive actions and for making decisions. So these are control structures. For repetitive actions means for loop, what I have explained you, and for making decisions means if control, which I have explained to you. That is why we need for performing repetitive actions and for making decisions. Next question is, explain if condition with syntax and example. Now if condition can be better explained through examples rather than reading all this stuff. So let us move on directly to Visual Basic program. Now the first example what I am going to show is using if condition, if with and if only. So for that, let's take example that to print whether the child is pass or not. So let us set an criteria. If the percentage of child is greater than 33, then the child is passed. Otherwise we'll see later, child is passed. So let's start dim per as integer. Here I am not considering fractional percentage, only integer values. And let us save some text box value into it. So I'm going to the form design, putting one text box where we are going to enter percentage. Here the name of this form is text1. Let's go back. So this is the control text box where percentage will be entered. Again going back to this PER will hold the value of text box 1. So text1 dot text. So here whatever you typed in the text box 1 will get converted to value first and will get saved in percentage. Now if that percentage is greater than or equals to 33, then we are printing that pass and end if, and our program finishes here. Let us execute this program. I am typing here 34. Sorry, this printf is C programming statement, we should use only print. Let us execute it again. Write 34 and pass has appeared here. Okay. If I change this percentage to 99, again pass has come. If I change it to 23, then nothing is coming. If I change it to 45, again pass has come. So whenever we are entering percentage greater than or equals to 33, then only the message is appearing. If I put it less than, then nothing is displayed. It is blank. Why it is happening? Because we have set the condition as if percentage is greater than 33, then pass. If it is not greater, we have not mentioned anything for that. So this is one of the if control where we just check the condition and do if the condition is true. What should happen if the condition is true? Now there is another control structure, that is if then else. This is only if then. We are going to see now if then this else fail. Now this sounds to be a complete statement, that if percentage is greater than 33, then print message as pass, else print message as fail. Let us execute this again and put now the number less than 33 and execute. We are getting the message as fail, and if it is more than, then we are getting it as pass. So this is if then else. The third type in this is nested if then else. So nested if then else, again we can add little more things into it and we can have multiple if checking, if conditions. Now the first example was only checking for pass, the second displays pass or fail, the third with nested if else is for displaying the grades where we do multiple checkings. Now how this example can be converted to that? If percentage is greater than or equals to 60, then we want to print first class, or we can have the example of CC pattern above 90, A1 above 80. Let us take the same example. If percentage is greater than 90, then print A1. I'll take only 2-3 categories. Else, again we can have one more if percentage what we enter in text box is not greater than 90, then we can check for one more condition, that is if percentage is greater than 80, then print A2, and this way program will continue with if else. Again else if, I am taking the last as A2. If percentage is greater than, let's take the last now, you can add more conditions in it, 33, then print D, and last you want to display fail. We don't use the term fail, we will use your needs improvement. Now how many ifs we have opened? This 1, 2, 3. So 3 times we have to do end if. So this is how the logic goes. Here I have written it only for A1, E2, D and needs improvements. Only 4 categories I have taken. It can be taken for more categories also. Let us execute this. I am putting this here as 98%. So A1 is displayed. If I enter here as 88, then A2, because 88 goes here, 88 greater than 90 is false, so it is going in else part. 80 is greater than 80, true, that is why it is printing A2 here. Again moving on to the next input, let's take less than 33, and here needs improvement has come. So Wherever the condition is true, it is getting executed. If condition is false, it is going to the next if statement. This is what happens in nested if else. Let us have a look at the answer, how it is written. Explain if condition with syntax and example. Just now I have explained you if then selection structure, where we have just displayed the messages pass. So here what happens, if and condition and then one statement. This is what is covered in only if then condition. Second, what we saw is if then else condition, where we displayed both the messages pass as well as fail. So syntax comes like this: if condition, then what to do, else the statements are to be executed. So this is if then else statement. And the third what we saw is if then else selection, that is nested if then else selection structure, where multiple conditions can be tested and the statements gets executed. So this is what if condition, then statements, else if, else ifs. Now else if can be written together, it can be written on next line as well, and this is how your if then else, nested if then else works.